we both came from a place of
horrendous relationships.
These relationships taught us so much about ourselves.
That the next person we meet, that will be my spouse.
Hello, I'm Joseph Williams.
And I'm Ebony Williams.
And we're co-founders of J&E Coaching,
where we help women align,
amplify,
and accelerate their goals and intimate relationships by challenging their BS.
Today, we just want to share some of our relationship story. So, to give you context, so when we start releasing content, you can have a reference point for our story as we share with you strategies and methodologies to achieve your breakthrough in your life. So, Ebony, if we remember from the beginning, we both came from a place of
horrendous relationships.
Yes, she's right. Conversely, these relationships taught us so much about ourselves.
Definitely.
Right?
Definitely.
Hindsight is always 20/20.
20/20, right.
So we were not saying this in the midst of or even right after because we were in so much pain. But I know for me, and I think you feel the same way, I was in so much pain that I told myself I will never go through that again.
Not again. Yeah. And that ironically also led us each as individuals, it brought us to a place of literally just saying within ourselves that the next person we meet, that will be my spouse.
Because if we be honest with ourselves, we knew that person wasn't the right one.
That's very true.
Right?
We did. We knew all along.
And we didn't use our instinct, to guide us through that situation. We were in love. We've all been in love.
We've
before,
all been in love,
right? So that was a tragic situation, but it was great because those were failure moments. So we learned from that because either you're going through life
or you're growing through life.
So we chose in that situation to grow through our situation. Fast forward, we met each other, and yes.
It was instantaneous. Like,
it really was.
One of the things, it's okay. So something that is so true is that, like, when you meet the person that's meant for you, so your soulmate, your whatever you want to call it,
purpose partner, life partner,
it is something that is recognized. Like, you just
know it.
You know it.
You know it, right? You don't need this flash of lightning or ask for something to happen. I mean, you could ask for manifestations of signs. You can do
for
that.
confirmation.
Yeah, confirmation. Yeah. But as Ebony alluded to, we knew it. And I quoted you a little bit. That's old terminology, but I was feeling her, everything like that. So we got to this place where I was just like, okay, I need to see if she's the one. So the person that introduced me to you, I spoke with him prior to speaking with you, and he advised me not to because once again, you have to keep in mind that we came from this horrendous relationship prior to meeting each other.
Yeah.
So I wanted to jump in head first. That's just who I am. I love hard. I go hard, right?
Right.
So I wanted to go head first, and he advised me not to. But remember, we just talked about instinct.
Yeah. So
I used that instinct, and I was just like, no, I'm gonna do it my way because either she's it or she's not.
And what's so crazy, obviously, I'm truly grateful that he actually decided to just follow his instinct.
Me too.
Because our very first conversation, he ended up calling me and he did the opposite of what he was told. So our very first conversation, for starters, it was 5 hours long, 5 whole hours. And the conversation went a little bit like this from him. It was, hey, this is who I am. This is what I stand for. This is what I'm looking for. Are you that person?
And vice versa.
Yes.
She, we both just laid the smack down on each other. Like, this is what it was. I mean, we were laser focused on what we wanted. We were laser focused on our worth, because that's one of the biggest.
That's the biggest lesson that we learned from our previous relationship.
Our self-worth.
Yes.
When you know your and so our first that 5-hour conversation, the thing that we, you know, because when you meet your purpose partner, you know, that person for you is not gonna be perfect, but the thing that was the glue for us is that our values.
Yes.
That was the thing that, you know, holistically that we talked about the whole time, that connected us was our values.
Our values and our standards. We literally, pretty much were almost like, ironically enough, it was like a mirror.
Right.
We had the same intentions, the same belief systems.
Right. We were both goal oriented.
Exactly.
And, you know, wanted to achieve many things in life.
Exactly.
So about what, 2 years after that?
We got married.
Yeah, we got married. We got married. And during that time, we were putting in prep work.
Yes.
For marriage.
Yes.
We were putting in prep work. We got to a point, even at the church that we were attending at that time, we went through dating counseling, premarital counseling, and even on top of all of that, because we really want this to work out, we would meet with each other. It was in the 5-hour conversation, 2 years. That second year, I believe.
That second year.
For I don't know how many months we met.
It was a long time.
Like weekly.
Every week.
And we talked about our family history. We talked about our parents and the things that we wanted to replicate, the things we didn't want to replicate.
Yeah.
And just going into the marriage with intentionality.
Exactly. And obviously, you know, for us, that's a word that is quite common, the word intentionality or the word intention. That time period was so needed. Like, it was so needed. We really got an opportunity to really kind of just dissect different things and really decide like what we wanted for our marriage.
One of the reasons why that's so pivotal is because within our family constructs, we really didn't have a reference for what we have right now.
For what we have, yes.
So we were having to navigate unfamiliar waters on our own.
Yeah.
Right?
Absolutely.
Having to figure out what a husband is and what a wife is, and holistically what a marriage is.
What is a marriage? And also, like, you know, what does submission look like? What does compromise actually look like?
Right.
You know, these are words that are often thrown around, but no one actually can tell you, you know, really what it looks like, or oftentimes there aren't great examples of what those things look like. So
we really want to create our own narrative in our own relationship, and I believe we've done that because we are going on 8 years, and we're happily married.
Absolutely.
Right.
And that's actually kind of like, you know, a little pause, which is that years does not equate to quality. Okay, over here we're all about quality over quantity.
You know,
any day.
The baby boomer generation, it was, you know, that's the language that they use. You know, oh, we've been married for 25 years or 30 years.
But are you happy though?
Right.
Let's be real.
Or do you have romance, or are you roommates?
Or are you roommates? Exactly. Like, we really have to, you know, delineate those things. And for us, like us having those weekly meetings, it was extremely beneficial, and it actually ended up carrying over into our marriage. We call them family meetings. We have a family meeting once a month, and
because one of the things we didn't want to happen, we didn't want to communicate in the midst of arguments or disagreements, to have a meeting to talk then. It's too late then.
It's way too late. Like, one of my most favorite lines is from the movie War Room.
Yeah.
And she said in the very beginning of the movie, she talks about how you have to prepare for war in a time of peace.
Exactly.
And it's true. And the truth is that it's the best strategy, because if that's not your strategy, you don't have a strategy.
The saying is, if you fail to plan,
Come on,
you plan to fail. So we continue to plan for victory, for a great outcome. So once again, we just want to share some of our relationship story with you, and as we continue to upload content, we're gonna take these pieces of our story and show you how we no longer stand in our story as a victim, but we stand on our story
as victors.
So remember, if it's not challenging you,
it won't change you.
See you next time.